Greetings and salutations, I am Castellan of Ingmar, also known as Tyrant of Linden, over on the Total War Center, and welcome to part 2 of this mini tutorial series on 3D modeling and texturing. And this is the modeling phase. If you can see right here in this bottom right screen, and I'm not showing my cursor because it doesn't capture properly, so I might as well not even have it up. This is an experimental texture that I made, and I'll teach you how to get the same sort of look in the video after this one. But for now, we're just going to use this to get to model our main things. There will be some minor editings and cuts because this is a long, tedious process and I'm a bit lazy. And if any of you are wondering, yes, I will be using Milkshake to make the model because I am too stupid for, what's it called again? Blender. I'm a little too dumb for it. So I'm just gonna start it out right now. Oops, a little too short. So I'm gonna use quite a few presets, and I have experimented with the shape already. So we're gonna use this, and actually, might as well just do this. A, and we're gonna shrink it down. Let's get a cross section of that. It's a little too, there we go. It's a bit better. So we're gonna zoom in. Let's zoom in again. It's a little too move this to line up a tad bit more. Now, because I need to get this to be slightly more octagon or octagonal, I'm just gonna select the faces and then extrude it. So I'm gonna turn off back face. If I can click it, give me this face, thank you. I'm gonna extrude it. I'm gonna zoom in a tad bit more because I want to get this as straight as I can. There we go. That has been extruded. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to change the projection in this top right one, and I'm going to set that because I'm too lazy. So that's what it should look like, and I might as well just have that right now. And we're going to rotate this again to back. And we're just going to select the faces again. And then we're going to extrude this as well. Get it as straight as possible. That is not straight enough. There we go. And have that. So we have this. I'm going to disable that so we don't have the textured garbage yet. And then we're going to select all. And we're going to squish it up a little. So we're going to go to scale, change this back to 1, and then we're going to go into Z. We're going to take down a few. It's close. Take one off. There we go. And there you go. You've got a octagonal cross section for the shaft. And I will do the texturing later. Right now, we'll just do the modeling. So we've got that done. So we're going to deselect that, and we're going to name it something. We're just going to name it shaft. So we don't need that anymore, so we're going to go away from it. We're going to make this first because it's much simpler. And we're going to use the vertices. I'm going to make the perimeter, and then I'll go ahead and cut it here, put the perimeter, and I'll see you guys when I finish making the perimeter. Okay, now we have the perimeter set up, and we're going to disable that. Go back to vertex, and I'm going to start selecting each pair of vertices in threes. I'm going to switch this to the front. Which view is this one? This one is in top view, so we're going to project top view here. And I'm going to make this wire, and make this 3D, since most of our focus is going to be there. We'll make this flat. I mean, not textured. So we're gonna start selecting. Oops. Groups of 3 to make each face. I've scattered them a tad bit unevenly so it's easier. This is important. I know it's not as clean as it probably could be, but it's for the purposes of making sure we get the lame that landjet in to the model. I'm gonna reverse all these vertices since they are actually the back face right now. Oops, too many. And doot. Now this is very ugly right now, but we'll fix it in a little bit. And this, we can just do this. There we go. Now we're gonna go back here. Start selecting these. Where? There we go. This one. This one. And this one. Select these two. Select this one. If you're wondering how I'm able to make the faces, it's Control F, or just F really. And there we go. So now we've got all these. We're going to select this and Control Shift F to reverse the faces. Here we have it. This is back face, so it will be transparent on the inside. So we can clean this up a tad bit. So we're going to do this now. I'll clean this up and I'll be back with you guys in a second. Alright, it is cleaned up and we can begin on the next part. So we're going to go ahead and select it all. We're going to Control D, duplicate. We're going to Control F and reflect that. So we're going to end up doing this. That's the wrong side. I'm going to project this back to how we normally had it. Put it front, move this, zoom out a tad bit, and then I'm going to move it downwards. Now we have that. As you can see in the bottom left, we're going to extrude it. It's this way. No, it's the other way. And that creates extra faces that we will use to line up and clean up. That we will not need specific set. Delete those are it. If I can select them. Yes, those are it, and we will just delete those. We can just use this one. Delete that. And this face is not needed, so we will get rid of it. There we go. So it should look like that. We want to limit our poly count, so that will be it for that, and we will reselect our duplicate and slowly guide it up. It's important that we keep it as lined up as possible. There we go. Select the other. Regroup. We will hide this and we will delete all these extra vertices that are no longer important. And now we have this model, which we can now profile accordingly. So I'm going to also hide this because we're going to do a tiny bit of extrusion. Jesus Christ, I'm also going to call this. It's not spell it, but rename, and we're going to extrude the perimeter of this to give it a little more shape. To extrude, draw it out. Oops. Extrude that properly. There we go. that shape now, and we will do the same on the other side. Direction back. Reset view, and we will do this again. Select this, extrude, half it. We'll also try to line it up with the others. Best we can. There we go. There we go. And there we go. We've got that. Now I'm going to extrude this tip back here, which I will quickly just select so you can see. We'll select the three faces at the very end with these vertices right here. So we will rotate this. This is to project left, I believe. Reset. Yes, this is the right orientation. And we will face, do not do that. And we will select you. And we will extrude. Move it to line up, and we're going to have it. And we're also going to sharpen it. This, that. We're going to make that one again. We're going to have that. Enough. I don't need it to be terribly pointy, but enough. And then we're just gonna select all these. To then squish it. It's a little too much. And we will this. A little too much. Go. Too much. Move and bounce there. About right. And we will just slightly tweak these. This one just a bit more. There we go. I'm going to squeeze that one in just a tad bit more, so we'll make this one. We'll make this 9. See here. Oh, I would actually prefer to move this one, line this one up again. Here. There you go. And that really concludes that piece. So So I'm going to save that. And now I'm going to make the perimeter for this unholy monstrosity known as the blade. So, hope you are excited for that. And I'll be back when I've finished laying out all the vertices. Alright. I finished laying these down, which are, that is the wrong button. Finished laying down all the vertices. Deselect. Should probably also add one there. So I'm going to do the same thing as last time with the butt of the pole arm. I'm going to set up in creating all the faces. And this will take a good amount of time, because nothing is ever easy when it comes to this kind of stuff. And there was a massive storm, so I had to wait a while to actually record. There might be some thunder that gets through into the audio. I'm not sure if it is picking up. It's a good thing to always keep your faces consistent as well in their direction. This one we're going to have fewer vertices in the, actually it would be better off if I add them these early on, rather not have to deal with them later. We'll just make that work. Actually, let's just do that. Yeah. So then we're gonna do this. And we'll make them all pretty later, because that's not the concern right now, is to just get this to shape. And there are plenty of tutorials on 3D modeling, so you can really learn what I'm doing through those. There we go. Now we'll just continue this. Now, the one part of this model that is going to be a concern, is the hook area, because of its circular shape, and it's very difficult to get that kind of shape in an old program like this. And there was some thunder, so I've got no idea if you guys heard that. Yeah, we'll just do that. This is going to be a very strange looking mesh. It's all kinds of weird looking right now. It's 4, I only need 3. And sorry if I'm not talking a whole lot, I just need to do this quickly, so it's a little easier on my mental capacity, I believe would be a better way of describing it. Because I'm an idiot. If you guys don't know, OBS doesn't record Milkshape very well. It screws up its scene. Makes it difficult to frame it, which is why I have to disable the cursor, because it doesn't match very well, and I'm going to have to set all those up properly. All those faces that are currently black need to be set to white. I always start with white on top. So I'm going to have to oh boy, now we have to get this piece to go the way it needs to. Making curved anything is a bit of a pain, but it usually looks nice in the end. I should also, at some point, finish the Dale assets, which I need to release by the end of this month. I was gonna release it last month, but things got in the way, and couldn't work on it as a result. Well, I guess that's what happens. Things happen. Not everything can be planned for. Yes. There you go. Just do it this way. That is okay. And this way. This way. Doot. 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 And yes, I make sounds when I do this because it helps me focus for some goddamn reason, and I'll never know why I should have put something there. Oh no. Screw it. We'll just run with it. I'm not gonna try and fit a vertices. Actually, stick a goddamn vertice there. Why not? What can be the harm? That is 4. You moron. Still 4. That is 4 again. Goddamn it. That's 4 right now. Don't do that. Shy of that. Click. There we go. Yeah, I like having that on top first. I should probably ask this, but I wonder if anyone's, because I'm curious if people would watch this video idea that I have, and it's talking about weapon and armor design. I wonder if you guys would be interested in that. If you are, tell me. I would like to know, because I would like to talk about that. It would seem very interesting. Again, a lot of what interests me may not be interesting to a lot of people. And is here. Something is lucky. Let's make that vertice. There we go. Don't do that. Let's see entirely. There we go. I usually suggest people to listen to music when they also start doing this stuff, because it can be very tedious and mind-numbing. And some good music can make it seem pretty short. A short task in a day. Alright, I'm gonna cut all the footage of me fixing the faces, and we'll just come back to that. Okay, so I just checked midway through recording, and the section where I was working on the blade, the pole arm, was corrupted, and there was no way I was going to get that footage back. But I essentially did the same thing I did with the butt, so, and just with making the edge. It has a distal taper on the blade, and it is wider here. I'll just get rid of these two, this one. So it is essentially able to wrap around it perfectly fine. It has a distal taper, and the spine here, that I will be selecting, is a little thicker as well. So sorry it didn't capture, but there's no way I can redo this all, because that would take too much time, and I've been doing this for almost 2-3 hours, and I need a break. So I'll show you what I have done before I found out it stopped recording properly. So let's hide these two, and unhide that. This is the fully textured model, and I'd show you how the texturing thing works, but again, OBS doesn't capture milk shape very well, so yeah. I will leave a link so you guys can look at this model in further detail. But the next video I will show you how to make the textures, essentially. How to get this look with the texture, and how you set up materials, something I talked about until it didn't record well and it got corrupted. It was, in order to make materials, you click New right here, then you go to where it says None, before underneath Ambient Specular. You click that, it'll take you to File Explorer. You'll select the texture you want to work with. I usually keep them in BMP because that's easier to convert in the texture, the DDS program I use. So you add that and you select each individual asset, like the blade alone, and you will click Assign. This one doesn't have a texture, but you select it and it should turn black or be covered in whatever amount of textures is in that set, in that BMP. So it should essentially be textured. This, however, this has a lot of black, so it's a lot of negative space, so it's gonna most likely end up being black. And I went into where it says Window and clicked what is called Texture Coordinate Editor. I'd show you how it looks, but again, OBS doesn't record it very well, so I can't really show you. But yeah, that's essentially how I do the modeling. I will show how I made the textures in the next video, and then we'll slap this model onto a working unit model, I guess. Throw that in game, test it out, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them. Other than that, have fun with modeling, I guess, and wait for the other stuff. I should also address that stretching that can easily be fixed. I'm just not going to do it just yet because I've been doing this for way too long and I need sleep. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and yeah, see ya.